I'm David Pakman in Denver, Colorado at the National Conference for Media Reform, here with Jeff Cohen, founder of Fairness and Accuracy in Reporting, also the Park Center for Independent Media. Let's go there first. What does the Park Center do?
We're a unique center on a campus. We study independent media. We promote independent media. We get students to work in independent media. We have a great speakers program, and every year we honor a journalist or news outlet or two for outstanding achievement in independent media, and that that award is named after I.F. Izzy Stone, who had the wonderful independent newsletter throughout the 50s, 60s, and early 70s. So we call it the Izzy Award.
And who is the recipient of that award?
The 5th annual recipient of the Izzy Award is Mother Jones Magazine, Mother Jones news outlet, Mother Jones website. They broke story after story in 2012, whether it was about gun shootings, mass shootings, environment, the presidential election, and one of their big stories was the release of the 47% video where a presidential candidate says that 47% of American voters are government dependents who see themselves as victims. And that rocked the political campaign, changed the momentum.
So let's go into that. Yes. Do you think that had significant impact?
There's no doubt it did. I mean, people in the Romney campaign said it just rocked us, and we never rebounded. So that video was crucial. Mother Jones did great work last year on dark money, how big nonprofits and super PACs fund both political parties. So Mother Jones just distinguished itself. We have the great thing about independent media, it's booming, and there's so much great work. We judges have to look at so many great nominations. But Mother Jones' work this year was just superlative. Remember, our first annual award back in 2009 was awarded to Amy Goodman of Democracy Now! And the blogger Glenn Greenwald. So we've had great award winners every single year, and Mother Jones won it this year.
Let's talk about the online activism group you're involved with and how Bradley Manning fits into that.
Right. I co-founded an online group called rootsaction.org. We have a petition now that's very hot in the global internet, which is to give the military whistleblower Bradley Manning the Nobel Peace Prize. He did a lot for peace. He did a lot for democracy. He risked his life in prison and perhaps his life to bring out documents that showed official U.S. war crimes, misbehavior on a global scale. He had these documents. Just like Dan Ellsberg decades earlier, he said, what do I do about these documents, this video? Do I sit on it, or do I risk something by releasing it, generating debate? He testified at this hearing, and it was eloquent. People around the world probably heard more about that testimony than people who get their news from the U.S. mainstream media.
Well, let's talk about media coverage of Bradley Manning. I mean, characterize it.
Well, it's disastrous. I mean, if you look at the difference between how mainstream media covered another military whistleblower, Daniel Ellsberg, when he released the Pentagon Papers about Vietnam in 1971, and how they reacted to this whistleblower who released evidence of high crimes by U.S. military, U.S. State Department, in the last year or two. It shows the decline of U.S. mainstream media. The U.S. mainstream media in 1971 was ready to stand up to the war-making president, ready to stand up to war, ready to educate the public. They actually engaged in civil disobedience when one newspaper was shut down and other newspapers started publishing the Pentagon Papers. So that's how they handled whistleblower Daniel Ellsberg, and how they've handled whistleblower Bradley Manning is basically to look away and to not analyze the importance of the documents he released.
One of the most incredible things that I remember in kind of when the Bradley Manning story broke was Wolf Blitzer on CNN angry, visibly angry that we found out all this stuff.
Right.
He's presumably a journalist,
right,
and he was just so angry. We found out all of this stuff that investigative journalists should have been working on. Very angry that Bradley Manning let him know about that.
Right, and decades ago in the Ellsberg era, when mainstream journalists got their hands on actual documentation where the administration couldn't deny it, here was their words. Well, Bradley Manning has got U.S. State Department cables at the highest level, and he released it to the public. And of course, all the day-to-day war logs on the Iraq War and the Afghanistan War showing lie after lie. I mean, the U.S. military was saying we're not keeping track of civilian deaths. They were. The U.S. military gave an order in 2004 to U.S. troops in Iraq, turn your back when you see allies torturing Iraqis. So, I mean, it's significant evidence of war crimes that has been covered very big in mainstream media overseas.
Yeah.
But not big in the mainstream media in the country that's waging this global perpetual war.
Where can people see the petition, sign the petition?
You go to rootsaction.org. Rootsaction is one word, rootsaction.org, and on the homepage you'll see this petition, and it's flying around the globe.
I've been speaking with Jeff Cohen here in Denver, Colorado at the National Conference for Media Reform.